awesome. Let's shift now. Let's go right to the NIT tournament. Fields and outs. You guys got Rutgers. We already talked about what happened the year before. What were your thoughts? You're going to play them in Princeton. Not a home game, but kind of. And if you look at the rest of the field, Larry Bird was in that tournament. A lot of great teams, a lot of great players. You guys remember what you were thinking as you headed to the first game?
Yeah. Which guy are you talking about? The one that I won?
We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I didn't, right, it didn't really bother me who it was. And Rutgers, I mean, we were upset the year before, what happened. And we felt that we were as good as they were. They went to the Final Four, and we really didn't care. You know, having that being a neutral site was the biggest snow job that the committee could ever say. They wanted Rutgers to be in New York, and we weren't going to let that happen. And, you know, I think that, you know, we used to talk a lot, you know, and you know, we used to, you know, we relied on each other. We loved each other. And I tell you know, with Essie and myself, I love Essie Hollis. You know, and, you know, he was my brother. And, you know, and these guys were family to me. And you know, we had a bond that was very, very unique for any team that could ever come together. And I think that it didn't matter who we were playing. And I think we were upset, Coach, you know, with what happened the year before. And we had a vendetta going after those guys. They didn't have Sellers. They didn't have Dabney. And, you know, we felt we were as good as they were, regardless. Now they being a neutral site. And we were just going to absolutely go after them. And, you know, fortunately, Glenn, you know, was in the corner. He had his mouth open. He hit the ball, and I threw him the ball. And, you know, he says it was a different play. I don't really remember it. I got him the ball because, you know, he was a great player and a great teammate. And I think we trusted each other. You know, as I look back on it, and being a coach for so many years, we had great trust. You know, Timmy, I mean, we could trust Nicky, we could trust Delmar. I mean, guys knew, and I think Coach, you know, he had a way about himself, and we had Billy Calmore, Bob Sasso. I mean, they had a way about themselves that really got to us, that when we went to New York, and we said it. I mean, we were going in to win the damn tournament. And we said, we ain't coming back, you know, without winning this thing. And I think we really believed, we had faith in each other, we trusted each other. We really trusted each other because we lived on the same floor and we had a camaraderie. And you could ask, you know, Jimmy, you could ask Danny, Bruno. I mean, we were inclusive with everything that was going on. And I think everybody felt part of the team because it was inclusive. And even our support staff, Leo, Jimmy, Chris Allen, I mean, everybody, and Dick, I mean, Dick was absolutely phenomenal. Dick would bring us in and he'd run us into the ground, and he was a hard-nosed military Marine, and we would have ran, I tell you what, I'd have ran through, if Dick would have told me to run through that wall would have been broken. Because, no, we loved him. We loved him. And
Any of us would have.
yeah, and it was that infectious. And I think that being up here, you know, Coach would let us come in, coaches would let us come up here during the summer, and I'd be up here every summer to stay the hell out of Brooklyn. You know what I mean? And he'd stay out of Rochester, Essie would stay out of Erie, Greg would stay out of DC. When we were up here, we formulated a family, a team, and it was beautiful. And we were focused, and we competed against one another. We didn't like each other when we played against each other. I mean, Essie and myself, I mean, I had black and blue marks. I couldn't see the black and blue marks on his, but I know he beat the hell out of him. I beat the hell out of him, and then and then I had this squirty guy right here, and he wants to play one-on-one, and I put my hand on his waist, he couldn't move. But, no, we had we didn't care who we played. And Rutgers, I tell you what, I love playing Rutgers. I mean, I couldn't wait to get them, right? We couldn't wait to get them from the year before, because we knew we were better, and, we were ready to play.
Great, thanks. Coach, you won 4 games by a total of 12 points. What was it that made you win those close games?
Luck. A lot of luck. A lot of talent. We had, great players, you win close games. That's part of it. We were such a young coaching staff. I was really young. Billy was younger than I was. Sass was old, so it wasn't really fun. But I think we had a nice combination. But we were good at the end of games. We won a lot of close games that whole year because we had guys that weren't afraid to take shots at the end. Part of being a great player is the ability to take a shot, not necessarily make a shot. You hope they make the shot at the end, but are willing to take shots when the game's on the line. And if they miss, they're willing to stand up and say, you know what, I missed that one, but I'll make the next one. And we had a bunch of guys that were willing to do that and could do that with the best of anybody. But, it's funny, just going back to you talking about the Rutgers thing. That game started down there in Princeton. They had this big center, James Bailey, who was a pro for a long time, 6'9" kid, he was a great player. And he started the game with 3 dunks against us. We were playing a thing, and he just ring rattled 3 of them. And we were back on our heels like you can't believe it. I'm looking at Billy and I'm saying, oh, jeez.
Jimmy.
I'm not sure about this one, All of a sudden,
Jimmy,
fourth one
I gotta say one thing.
What?
We won the NIT. I was out on the floor and the beautiful cheerleader, McDonald, her name was, come up and planted a kiss on my lips. My wife ran out of the stands and kissed me, and I got worried because the last 4 times she kissed me, we had kids.
Now the boys But anyways, after Bailey makes 3 dunks in a row, we're coming down, we don't know what to run and everything else. We're running 7 play for Essie on a baseline drive. And Essie dunked harder than anybody I've ever seen dunk in my life. And all of a sudden, this whole confidence grew from us. We were watching this other guy dunk on us, and he just tore a rim down. And all of a sudden, the game was there, and boom, we just kind of ran from there and ended up winning overtime when Haig made a great shot for us. But it was that was the kind of things that I think that kind of made this team and helped us win games by 1 point, 2 points, 1 point, right at the end. And but we really had good players who.
And I like to say that the coaching staff did an excellent job.
Thank you.
What are you talking about?
From my designer back there, Coach Sass, he gave me my first Army jacket.
Raincoat, that was a long raincoat.
And everybody seen me coming at it. But I like to say that the 3 coaches, they really knew what we could do on the court. And they really knew what each individual could do, and they put that knowledge together. You can't win close games if your coaches don't know you. It's impossible, because they'll put you in. They might put a guy in. They might do something that's totally unexpected. They knew exactly who could do what and when they could do it. All right, that dunk that I got in that game was no mistake. They set it up like that, knowing that would push our confidence up, and it did. So I like to give a hand to the coaches who were there.
You guys get my Rutgers. Jimmy Owens told me that, hey, told him you were going to win the game before you did it.
Right.
Not that you need an Eagle Boost, but I do want to get that out. Next game up is Oregon. They got a great player, Greg Ballard. We weren't favored in that game. Greg, you had 30. SC had 19, Hagan had 13. We led by 5 at the half, we led by 13 early in the second half, and hung on to win the game. What do you guys remember from that game?
I didn't get enough shots.
Any game you ever played, probably.
I got yours, Hagan.
Well, I mean, I remember Oregon being a big physical, strong team. They had a great coach in Dick Harder, who practiced and preached physical basketball. We were much more, I thought, athletic than they were. We jumped them early, Greg made a bunch of shots early, and then SC and Glenn started to carry us, but we hung on in that game. And Greg Ballard ended up being a pro for how long? Maybe 15 years or so. He just passed away, unfortunately, you know. But he was a great pro for a long period of time. And they had some other big, strong, physical guys, and I remember we had enough of a lead to withstand that run that they were gonna make, and they did make, and we made some free throws down the stretch, and we won by 3 or 4, I think. It was a real, whatever it was, a real close game, and so that was the one kind of fortunate game that we had that propelled us into the semifinals.
All right, so we go to semifinals, and it's up to Villanova. It's a rematch. Bonnie's win earlier in the season at home. Essie and Sanders are saddled with 4 fouls, much of the second half. Barron had 3. Hagan in the second half clears the key with the win. Sanders had 20, Essie 16, Jimmy 13. We're up 13 in the second half, but Nova comes back to 74-70 with 3:30 to play. Glenn takes over. Bonnie's win. We were favored to play zone in the second because of foul trouble, but not something we did a lot of. Glenn, tell us about Villanova.
I didn't get enough shots.
I got enough shots that game. I had Essie and Greg, and Essie, Greg, and Bo were in foul trouble. So it was left up to me. And I had a whole bunch of, at Del Mar.
Well, you know why he wasn't in foul too. He never guarded anybody.
I had Victor, and I had buckets, okay, like this year, right? And all we did was, well, all I did was call my play. So, all right? And I kept everything close, and kept everything going, okay, right? Now, in all honesty, all right, if those guys were on the court, and I had to, I could score, okay? But my job was to, actually I didn't have a choice. My job was to give Greg the ball, get Essie the ball, okay, all right? And that's what I did. I did what I was told to do, okay? You know, I clown and I laugh, right? If I wanted to shoot, I could have shot more. Games, I shot more, okay, like I said, right? But I did what I was supposed to do. I played to win, all right, no matter what. You know, like I said, Jimmy could score like a madman, all right? You know, if he got the ball.
He had a great saying to me. His great saying to me was, Bo, take him.
That's right, I told him I told
You know,
him
I would take the toughest guard so that he didn't get foul trouble. So he could save himself for the rest of the game.
Strategy. Somebody had that. But I want you guys to know, okay, right? For the record, okay, all right? When I came here, I sat on the bench for 14 games. Okay, all right? 14 games. Not a minute.
Should have been 6.
And so still has my watch. Right? 14 games. They said they let me rot. The best game ever to come through here. Never gonna forget
Time
that.
to get to the game or no?
Yeah.